Welcome everybody to this meeting of the Los Angeles City Board of Public Works. I'm Greg Good, and it's good to see everybody. So, Dr. Campos, can you please establish quorum?
Absolutely. Good morning. Fernando Campos, Executive Officer, establishing roll call and quorum for today. We have President Good, Vice President Garcia, President Pro Tem Davis, and Commissioners Caloza and Villegas. President Good, you do have a quorum. At this time, we do not have any callers on the line under general public comment. We also do not have any commentary under the Neighborhood Council comment section, and no callers on the line either for any of the items for today's agenda.
Thank you, Dr. Campos. All right, then let's jump right in. First, we'll take the minutes from Wednesday, September 29th, 2021. I will motion to approve. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Any concerns, Commissioners Caloza, Villegas, or President Pro Tem Davis?
None for me.
Okay. Hearing no objections, we'll move the minutes from Wednesday, September 29, 2021, forthwith. Item 1, we have received a request to continue item 1 again to November 17th, correct, Dr. Campos?
That is correct, Mr. President. Wednesday, November 17th, 2021.
All right, unless there are objections, we will continue number 1 to November 17th, 2021. And that brings us to item number 2. Item number 2 is a contract award, Riverside Drive Lighting Improvement Unit 2 CIP. This is a rebid. Recommending the board, 1, declare Servitech Electric, Inc., the first low bidder, to be the lowest responsible bidder, and award them a contract for this project for $922,708. 2, forward a copy of this report to the affected council district offices. And 3, authorize the president or 2 members of the board to execute the contract for this project upon approval of all required documents by the city attorney. Good morning, Mr. Madrigal and Ms. Fuelas. Who's presenting on this? Oh, Mr. Madrigal? Okay. All right. Good morning. Welcome.
Good morning. I'm Jaime Madrigal from the Bureau of Street Lighting. I'm here to recommend award of the Riverside Drive Lighting Improvement Unit 2 CIP to Servitech Electric, the first low bidder. The project was previously advertised in December 2020, and bids were received January 2021. However, due to the funding source changing from a combination of gas tax and SB1 to solely SB1, the project required a new bid package which implemented the business inclusion program requirements instead of the disadvantaged business enterprise requirements. The project will convert the existing high voltage street lighting system to a low voltage system along Riverside Drive from Lancashire Boulevard to Camarillo Street, and along Vineland Avenue from Horton Street to Riverside Drive. The project will install 62 new electrolyers, 76 LED luminaires, and 40 LED soffit units. Work also includes the installation of remote monitoring nodes to provide real-time reporting of light outages and failures. Servitech Electric submitted a bid for $922,708, which is 0.41% lower than the engineer's estimate of $926,500. The bidder has met the mandatory subcontracted minimum of 8% by pledging 17.9%. They have also complied with the Business Inclusion Program outreach requirements for MBE, WBE, SBE, EBE, DVBE, and OBE. The bid bond for this project is still valid. This bidder has met all the requirements of the bid and was found to be the lowest responsible bidder. Therefore, BSO recommends award of this project to Servitech Electric. All bidders have been sent a copy of this board report and notification of this board meeting. This concludes my presentation. I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have. Thank you.
Greg?
I was muted and didn't realize it. My apologies. Commissioner Caloza, any questions? Sorry, y'all.
Thanks, President Good. I have a few follow-up questions. Thank you for your presentation, Mr. Madrigal. just wanted to ask, can you explain, and I just don't recall, maybe you all explained it the last time, why was this item a rebid?
This item was a rebid because we were using gas tax and we had to go through federal reimbursement. And now it's solely using SB1 funds.
Okay, so the change in funding source required us to rebid?
Exactly.
Okay. And then the other question that I had is only because it's come up, in the last 2 years for some of street lighting projects. I know this is being awarded to a small business, and I know they have work already right now with the city. Can you just share how are they doing on their other projects right now?
Servitec Electric?
That's correct.
Yes, so I believe a couple of weeks ago they also won another street lighting project. It was Valerio CDBG project. For that project, they have not started yet. We still need to do the pre-construction meeting before they can start construction.
Okay. And then is that in addition to the one that's listed on the report? Or is that the same one? Or is that in addition to?
The Valerio is in addition to this Riverside Drive project.
Right. So there's also one listed in the board report for previous word record. So I don't know if that was already completed work. So I'm just trying to understand how many work packages or how many contracts they have right now, just so I can see if there's any additional assistance, which I know your team is already providing for a lot of our small businesses. But just want to make sure that some of the challenges that have come up in past years of small businesses maybe taking on too much, too soon, too fast, that doesn't happen again. And I just want us collectively as a board to be mindful of it, especially as we try to grow some of our community level contracting work and how we make sure that it's sustainable. And I know we obviously can't preclude small businesses, nor would we want to, from bidding on more projects, but I just want to make sure that understand their progress and how they're doing.
Maybe Partici, Kana could answer that.
Hi, good morning, Commissioner Calosa. It's Patty. The project that you mentioned, it was awarded in August of this year. So I don't know if it's the project that.
So do they have two? So in addition, once we, if the board proceeds with awarding this, they would have 2 contracts. I'm just trying to understand.
That's correct.
Okay. I mean, so maybe we can just follow up. I'm not sure if we can just follow up with a briefing afterward, and I can ask a few more questions. But it would be great to understand this information for some of these contracts that I know. Similar lighting contracts that have had some challenges in the past, and I just want the board to be mindful. I understand that this is a new business that's before us that we're awarding this a contract to, so I'm not trying to overconflate the issues, but I'll follow up with the BCA team and the BSL team separately to understand some of the details a little bit more in progress. Okay. I don't have any further questions. Thank you, President Good.
Thank you, Commissioner Calosa. Vice President or Commissioner Villegas.
Hi, good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Thank you for your report, Mr. Madrigal. It was really good, really informative, and I appreciate Commissioner Calosa's questions as well. I just wanted to state that for the record, and just want to ensure that the folks that we are giving contracts to, I know you all have done your due diligence on them, but we just want to make sure that they're just in good standing with all of our contracts. I don't have any questions. I appreciate it. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. President Pro Tem Davis.
Thank you very much. Is it Jamie?
Jaime.
Oh, Jaime. Jaime, thank you so much for the report. The first issue in terms of the beginning of the project, it initially was a federally funded project, and we transformed it to a local funded project. Is that what happened?
Yes.
Thus, the change from the disadvantaged business categories to the small business categories that are more appropriate for locally funded projects, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, members have brought up, both Caloza and Villegas, the issue about capacity, the ability for those who win these contracts to have the capacity to complete them. And certainly we want to focus on the motion that you have before us. But the larger issue of ensuring that we have capacity feeds into outreach that we have in terms of those who compete. When an individual does come as a company to us, they understand the process, they do well, and they win the contract. They are to get the contract. It does not take away the concern that the board has about capacity. And I guess in many ways, quality control, that the work that we let out will be done in a way that we can all feel proud. What have we done? Well, first of all, let me ask you, how many people competed for this project?
It was a total of seven bidders.
Oh, we had 7 bidders.
Mm-hmm.
That's not bad. That's not bad. So I guess the concern is that hopefully we have many various people as we look in general at our bidding process, that we are getting the word out. Certainly we have BAVN, and that we can't do any more than those who are not certified are not available, but that we do everything that we can to make sure we have a healthy group of people who are complying with the requirements for the contracts. So basically you have determined and that the winning of this project goes to Servitec. And so it is what it is, and we can only hope and pray, as we do on all of our projects, that they will have the capacity to perform to the level of which not only they can feel proud, but we can feel proud. So that continues to be a concern for us. But as you have shared with me, we had 7 companies to compete here. It's our hope that we will have various companies compete on more of our projects. I don't know what else you can do other than what you do to ensure that we have multiple companies to do it. And again, I will conclude to say, I do understand and I accept that even when these companies apply, we can't win the contract for them. So Servitec won this contract, and again, we just want to emphasize that the capacity to be able to complete the project is critically important to us. And I know it's nothing that you as the administrator can do to make that happen, but just know that that remains a concern. Thank you, Mr. President, for the time.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. Vice President Garcia.
Thank you, President Good. Good morning to everyone, Jaime and Patricia. And to my colleagues, I want to say that I too echo your sentiments on this project, on this contract. I know I've expressed it already to Jaime, and I've expressed it already to Megan. And I know we even had meetings with Ted Jordan on this specific contractor. I too am very worried of his capacity and of the past that has happened, but I understand. And Ted Jordan, you know, you can help the board understand why we are still okay with moving forward with a new contract with this contractor that won this bid. So Ted, can you just give us a brief snips of why is it okay to still continue providing this, allowing this contract to go forward?
Certainly. And I, just for the record, I share many of the concerns that have been raised here by the board. You know, the entity before us, Servitec, that specific entity is different than the entity also called Servitec that we had contracts with in the past. some of which actually were terminated by this board. So this is a different legal entity. They are the lowest responsible bidder. Responsibility is presumed until an entity has been formally debarred or found non-responsible. And the conduct and actions of the previous entity don't necessarily relate to this entity. And so I think, though, the board is doing a very good job and relating to staff their concerns. And I think the reality is I think we do need to sort of make sure that this entity that we absolutely want to succeed is allowed to do that. And that means, though, we might have to sort of monitor things and not let it get out of hand. But, you know, any entity is allowed to bid on the projects, and we award contracts to the lowest responsible bidder. So
Thank you.
I hope that answers your question.
It does. I just wanted to make that clear to our colleagues and to the board on how and why this was able to move forward and why we're in this, and why we're here now awarding this contract, even though we, you know, we all know that it has a different legal name and you know, it's slightly different, but I think overall we understand the operations of this, and so our recommendation, Jaime, and to the team at BSL is really to monitor, and like Ted said, that if something just is not working, you know, we call it at the first phase, that we don't let it go on, or it's just as soon as something's not working out, as soon as something seems off, then we need to step in and figure out what we can do right away. We can't let this one continue to go because of the capacity that we're concerned about. So I just wanted to make that clear to the board that we all have our concerns, but and you know, the other great thing is that we did receive 7 bidders, which is a really nice thing, and you know, we're always looking for bidders to bid, and so you know, I really hope that this works out, because there were 6 others that can potentially were willing to do this work and were willing to do it efficiently, and so I hope that the contractor understands our concern and takes that into consideration as he starts this contract. And I'll leave it as that, Jaime. It's not totally you. I'm so happy that you're handling it, but now you understand kind of our collective concern. But thank you for that, and that's all for me, President Good.
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. Not a lot to add. My colleagues and Mr. Jordan have been pretty crystal clear here, and perhaps others, I don't know, say maybe the contractors hopefully listening to this as well. Bottom line is business must be taken care of. I do, and I'm not going to like make some sort of recommendation or direction on this. I do think it'd be interesting to contemplate. I'm sure, Ted, whether we have board policy or LA Municipal Code policy around situations where we debar a contractor, where that precludes subsequent contracts for other entities with similar principal officers, and I mean I know we must. So I just maybe something for us to consider down the road, and maybe BCA could take a sort of preliminary look at this. You know, whether or not it merits consideration to sort of expand that type of policy to a situation where you have a default and then a subsequent, and then absent a contractor responsibility process or hearing, where someone defaults and then changes. And I'm sure they're going to take care of business. I'm sure they're going to do a great job. That's why, you know, we're hearing the item. But we also are in the business of contemplating contingencies, and so it would be good to at least look at whether or not there's a policy that we could consider around situations just short of debarment, where contractor responsibility plays, but where it's clear that somebody has basically just reconstituted the same entity with similar principles, and whether or not that could be impacted. Because otherwise, you could do this over and over and over again, and not be subject to some of the prohibitions that we have. So that being said,
I agree, Mr. President, that certainly is an area of accountability that needs to be implemented, whatever form it takes. I think that's really critically important.
And I just want to say that we did meet over this. Ted was part of our meeting, and that was the conversation. Obviously, there's a process we need to go through, and we're in that process now. Part of this is this process. Yeah.
Good. Okay. So I will hope to hear something from somebody around possible board policies to consider with that as well. That said, we are where we are, and I too am happy that Mr. Madrigal and Ms. Fuelas are on top of this, and will entertain a motion to move this item forward.
I'll move it, knowing the past, knowing where we're at. I'll move it forward with very much concern. I'll say it that way.
Okay. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you, President Pro Tem Davis. And I will export your concern because I know you do too, President Pro Tem.
Yes.
Dr. Campos, why don't we take a roll call?
Absolutely. There's been a motion by Commissioner Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Davis, to adopt the report on item number 2. Vote tabulation will be President Good.
Yes, with trepidation.
Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Caloza.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion carries unanimous. Mr. President, would you like to consider this item to go forthwith?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right. Excuse me, colleagues. I have to step away for 2 seconds. I'm going to hand the proverbial gavel over to Vice President Garcia, and I'll be right back. But you guys go proceed, please. And thank you, Mr. Madrigal. Thank you, Ms. Fuelas. Y'all have great weekends, and thank you for your work on this, okay?
Thank you. Okay,
Thank
President
you. Have a
Good.
good weekend.
Thank you.
Well, good morning, everyone. I will be doing item number 3 on today's agenda. Item number 3 is an AFE for the County Sanitation District number 2, Southgate. This is a item from the Bureau of Sanitation and the Office of Accounting are requesting board approval and execution of authority for expenditure in the amount of $50,000 for contingent backup refuse disposal and transfer services provided at the Southgate Recycling and Transfer Facility when significant delays are being experienced at the city's primary facilities. This is an AE 225-08313M, Fund 508, Solid Waste Resource Revenue Fund, Department number 50, Appropriation Unit 50VX82. And with that, who is our, Mr. Potter. All right, Mr. Potter.
Actually, no, Darshana is our presenter. I'm just here as moral support.
Oh, you're just the Dodger fan. Got it. Okay. Ms. Patel, go ahead.
Thank you. Good morning, President Good, Commissioner Garcia, Caloza, Villegas, and David, Board Executive and Representative. I'm Darshana Patel, Environmental Engineer with the Bureau of Sanitation. I'm here to request approval for the Authority of Expenditure to utilize the Southgate Recycling and Transfer Station to provide contingent refuse transfer and disposal services when significant delays are being experienced at the city's primary facility. This is our contingent facility for the services for North Central, South Central, West LA, and Harbor West. LSN requests this AFE each year. This facility is operated by LA County Sanitation District, and they have a policy not to enter into long-term contract for these services. The AFE is for $50,000 and will be funded from the Solid Waste Resources Fund. And this concludes my report, and we are here to answer any question you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Patel. Appreciate your report. I'll send it over to my colleagues. Commissioner Villegas, any questions?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you, Ms. Patel. I appreciate your report, and it's always good to see Mr. Potter. And I just had a quick question, just for context. This is just as a contingency, correct? In the event that we are either maxed out or full or need another outlet to be able to take our some of our either like I'm assuming it's just like trash or any of our green bins or like our blue bins. This is a transfer station.
Yes, this is just our contingency backup option in case something happened to Sunshine Canyon landfill or El Salvador landfill. At that time, we need like backup to transfer our trash.
Okay, all right. Thank you so much. I don't have any further questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. Commissioner Calosa?
Thank you, Vice President Garcia. I just have 2 follow-up questions. And thank you for your presentation, Ms. Patel. Just curious, how did we end up using this contingency last year when we had it?
We haven't utilized this fund last year. And also in the previous year, we rarely utilize it, sometimes 1 load or 2 loads. So this is just for backup.
Got it. Okay. I was just curious how often we ended up using it. And then a question for Mr. Potter. What is LAPMA?
Ooh, my mistake. I left that on there. LA Professional Managers Association.
Oh, okay.
I'm the president of LAPMA.
But you changed departments or?
No, I made a mistake. That's my bad. Yeah, I'm the president of LAPMA also. So.
Oh, well, thank you for your service. I was just curious what that was. Not related to this item. Thank you. I don't have any more questions. Thanks.
Thank you, Commissioner Calosa. I think you did that on purpose. You wanted us to ask him what that was. Next, Dr. Davis.
No questions, no inquiry from me. Thank you.
Thank you so much. With that, I don't hear any other questions. President Good is not on the line. Do I hear a motion to move this item forward?
So moved.
Second?
I'll second.
Second. So moved by Dr. Davis and second by Commissioner Villegas. Dr. Campos, do we need to take that tabulation vote, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you very much, Madam Vice President. Voting tabulation for item number 3, and there's been a motion by Commissioner Davis, second by Commissioner Villegas to adopt the AFE. Voting tabulation will start with Vice President Garcia.
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis.
Aye.
Commissioner Calosa.
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion passes with 4 and 1 absent vote from President Good. Madam Vice President, would you like to consider this item forthwith?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Thank you. Sorry about that, I was on mute. Item number 4, this is an administrative item. This is a specification submitted for board adoption and authorization to advertise for the invitation of bids. This is in Council District 12 for the San Fernando Road widening at Balboa Road, W.0 E1907271, estimated $2,166,496,000. Bid receipt date November 24, 2021. Dr. Campos, we don't have anyone to present on this item, right?
That is correct.
Okay. So, anyone want to second my motion to move this item forward?
I second it.
Thank you, Dr. Davis. I think with that, we're ready for a tabulation vote. Dr. Campos?
Yes, there's been a motion by Commissioner Garcia, seconded by Commissioner Davis to approve the invitation for bids for item number 4. We'll start with the voting. Vice President Garcia?
Aye.
President Pro Tem Davis?
Aye.
Commissioner Calosa?
Aye.
And Commissioner Villegas.
Aye.
This motion is approved 4-0, 0 being not present by President Good.
Great. Thank you. And we're moving right along. Today's going to be a short meeting. This is item number 5. This is a oral report. This is a status update on major upcoming street improvement projects with the Bureau of Street Services. And who do we have here today from Street Services? Is that Mr. Young?
Mr. Young.
All right, Mr. Young.
How you doing, everybody?
Thank you so much. Good to have you here and excited to hear your report.
Thank you. This is the major street project update. This information is being provided to keep the public informed on upcoming resurfacing projects and minimize the impact on community as well as delays to the commuters. Streets LA would like to provide you with an update on all major upcoming street improvement projects. The following major projects scheduled in the Metro resurfacing region during the week of October 17th through the 23rd, Saturday, October 16th, and Sunday, October 17th, 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. will be continue to cold mill and pave Los Feliz Boulevard from Riverside Drive to Vermont Avenue in CD4, Los Feliz Neighborhood Council, Pavement Preservation Program Fund. There's no major street resurfacing in the Valley region. For that week, there will be doing 11 projects, which will total to 13.24 lane miles. The press releases were broadcasted and notified and have been issued. Streets LA has coordinated with council district officers to assist with outreach and stakeholders, and we have coordinated with Los Angeles Department of Transportation for traffic control assistance. This information is also available on Streets LA website. This concludes my report.
Always good to see you, Mr. Young, and thank you, Vice President Garcia. Any questions, colleagues?
No questions from me.
All
No
right.
questions, but thank you for street services during this windy week that we had, for your incredible diligence to track all the calls that were made, and then just be able to clean up, a lot of our streets and the palm trees and all that kind of stuff this week was kind of challenging. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Villegas. I really appreciate you bringing that up. I want to echo that. It really was crazy, and I know Streets LA was out there in full force. So thank you, James. From a distance, Keith Mose, Hector, Greg Spots, Cruz. Thank y'all. Anybody else? All right. Thank you, Mr. Young. And I believe that closes or clears the decks, Dr. Campos. Am I correct?
That is correct.
All right. So with that, thank you, everybody. This meeting is officially adjourned.